Season 2, Episode 5 of Helluva Boss came out. The episode took place in the human world, and we got a lot of character development for Blitz, Moxie, Millie, and the introduction of Blitz's sister, Barbie. Like always, I'm going to give a brief rundown of what happens in the episode, and then get into my thoughts after, where I'll discuss the things I liked and disliked about the episode. So the episode starts off with Blitz sneaking into a hospital in the Sloth Ring. Personally, I thought he was going to visit Stolas at first, but he's actually looking for his sister, Barbie. Barbie has a job now, so Blitz leaves to try and find her there instead. A sinner is looking to place a hit on someone in the human world. Blitz is too busy worrying about finding Barbie that he gets Moxie and Millie to do the job instead. Moxie and Millie head to the campsite to do their hit in their human disguises. Moxie is dressed as a girl and uses the name Moxine, while Millie becomes Millard and dresses like a boy. They see the murderer that they've been hired to kill, but Moxie instead wants to infiltrate the campsite in his disguise. We see Millie interact with the humans and she gets popular, which leads to the first song of the episode, Regular Joe. Shortly after, Moxie sings the second song of the episode, Everybody Look at Me. Moxie and Millie argue and they go their separate ways. Blitz locates someone who knows where Barbie is and uses their Osmodian crystal to teleport to the human world. Millie does a performance where she sings the final song of the episode, You Got the Power. While she sings, Moxie and Blitz meet up and confront the murderer who is working with Barbie. Four of them have a fight when one of the fireworks from Millie's party smashes through the window and explodes Barbie's accomplice. Barbie and Blitz argue and she goes back to hell. Millie and Moxie meet up on stage, kiss, and make out in front of the campers. Back in hell, Blitz makes fun of Moxie for being a disgrace. Luna is sleeping. So that was the episode. With the synopsis covered, it's time to get into my thoughts. Firstly, the episode went back to basics by being another assassination job. Many fans have been asking for one of these types of episodes for a while and the team delivered. It was cool seeing Moxie, Millie and Blitz in the human world again, and it reminded me a lot of season 1. I thought the runtime was decent. It was 21 minutes long and it flowed well. There wasn't many tonal shifts or inconsistencies compared to past episodes. It was cool seeing the A and B plots unfold and then seeing Blitz meet Moxie in the human world. Sometimes in past episodes the different plots can take you out of the action, but at least for me in this one that wasn't an issue. This episode has 3 songs, 2 of which gave additional character development to Millie. It was nice to see Millie finally get her own song that isn't a duet. We had the introduction of Barbie. I thought she was pretty cool and her voice actor did a great job. The animation, like always, was awesome. You could really see the contrast between the human world and hell. The episode had a ton of cool secrets and Easter eggs as well. I have an entire video discussing them, which I'll have linked below if you're interested. My personal favourite was the sinner drowning, and then when we see his sinner form he has aquatic features and a stomach made up of water. The jokes in this episode were a bit of a mixed bag. I'll discuss some of the controversial ones later, but I had plenty of laughs during the episode. My personal favourites were the campers telling Moxie to kill himself, the lyrics during the songs making fun of Moxie, and the instructor getting incinerated by the fire during Millie's song. So with the good things out of the way, it's time to get into the things I disliked. I'll address the elephant in the room, which is the jokes. I think out of any Helluva Boss episode, this one had the edgiest jokes and humour. Like I said previously, there was tons of fun gags, but others felt a little iffy. Like I personally didn't have an issue with a lot of them, but when I watched it unfold, I winced at 1 or 2, because I knew that the show was going to get into hot water on social media sites when people see these jokes. The biggest example is when Barbie shakes her ass at her murderer accomplice. Barbie is an adult, while in an earlier line she says that her accomplice is a teenage human. So to some viewers, it looks like Barbie is potentially grooming this human. vivziepop had to clear this up by doing a tweet on Twitter. In her tweet she said, "No statement on the shipping, but I would love to clarify before it gets too out of hand that this character is meant to be 18 or 19. In the States, camp counselors usually have to be legal adults. Hope that helps." So from this tweet we now know that the camp counsellor is an adult. However, to people who haven't seen this tweet or don't understand how camps operate, you could get confused and think that Barbie is a groomer. The second example is when Moxie and Millie have sex in front of the crowd of campers. To the crowd it looks like incest. The last I noticed was that the campsite's name is a sex joke, while the camp is full of kids, so it could be put forward that it is inappropriate. As you can see, these jokes are quite edgy. As a result, your enjoyment of the episode will be down to personal preference. If you like dark humour, then you'll likely have a blast, whereas if you're not a fan of that stuff, then you'll probably not enjoy the episode. One thing which I noticed towards the end is the focus of the runtime. Most of the episode is focused on Moxie and Millie, with only really the end focused on Barbie. I feel like perhaps we could have gotten some more character development for Barbie, perhaps explaining how she got her new job or why she fell out with Blitz. I've seen some people argue that this episode ruined Moxie and Millie's characters, with some saying that at least for Moxie, it verges on character assassination. For me, I don't agree, but I felt like some of their arguments were a little forced. Like at the start when the killer is right in front of them, but Moxie argues with Millie and instead wants to roleplay as a human for an entire week. I thought this was a bizarre choice. Blitz has always said that Moxie is incompetent as a leader, and this episode proves him right, since Moxie doesn't have the best critical thinking skills. Moxie throughout season 1 was meant to be the voice of reason in the group, but so far in season 2 they've relegated him to being more of a joke character. The songs were alright, but I don't think they're fantastic. The highlight of them is the bouncing text. I don't think these songs can compete against ones in season 1 like Moxie and Millie's duet in the pilot or their sing-along during Ozzy's episode. Barbie Wire, as good as she is, does have some flaws. She's yet another antagonist in a series which already has a lot. At this stage, I think that we're getting to the point where there's too many antagonists. We probably won't have her arc with Blitz resolved until way into the future. I saw lots of criticism towards Barbie Wire, with people saying she's needlessly rude to Blitz for no reason. I think this is because she's like other characters such as Fizz and Verosika, where they hate him. In the future, we'll receive backstory which explains how they fell out, but at least for the moment, some people aren't a fan of the introduction of yet another villain with a backstory that will get resolved far into the future. Lastly, Luna once again didn't have any significant role in the episode. We saw her briefly at the end, but she didn't say a word. So overall, I thought this episode was decent. Compared to the others, I think it was alright, but I think the enjoyment for the average viewer will depend on a case-by-case basis, where it's down to personal preference regarding the humour and plot. As a result, I think this episode will be one of the most controversial so far. I don't think it's as good as some episodes like Ozzy's, but I think it was a fun little joke episode that provided some character development and set up future plot points. If you have any opinions on what I said, or disagree with my review, let me know in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching.